kitchen getting ready to make those Panorama eggs.
Your armor don't remove. Stand up for truth when wrong seems right. Convictions must be strong. Pierce the darkness with the light as you go along. Living with one foot in heaven, breaking the enemy's power. In the strength of Jesus we can stand in the darkest hour. Living with one foot in heaven, ready when he calls our name. For believers to live is Christ, to die is only gain.
Good morning, I'm Patty. I'm here in the kitchen getting ready to make those Panorama eggs. With Easter coming up just right around the corner, or Resurrection Day as we like to call it, the Panorama eggs are just a great decoration that you can have around your house. Sometimes I make these with kids I teach at school, and their first question is, can we eat it? Can we eat it? The answer is, it's not poison, but I hope you don't eat it because we want it to sit on your shelf and be beautiful for many years to come. The egg is basically going to be put together like this with royal icing, and I have several colors of that already made up. Some of the tips I have put directly down in the bag. I'm only going to use one tip with the blue. However, like with the yellow, I'm going to make a yellow flower, then I'm going to change tips and put the center in the little blue flower. So I have with it a coupler, and the tip is attached with the coupler inside the bag. I do want to show you a little bit about mixing up the icing. Your icing must be always kept in an airtight container. With this one, I'm always using a paste color so that it's not too soft. And I've already put, this is a Kelly green. It's a little bit deeper green than the leaf green that you usually find in kits and things. You can see here I've mixed this up, but there's also quite a bit of white down at the bottom. It's really important to get all of that icing mixed up real well at the very bottom. When you get ready to spoon it into your bag, you don't want streaks of white showing. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but really get a good, really scrape around the sides and everything to make sure that it's all completely mixed up, that there's nothing white still clinging in the corners. Okay, now I'm ready to put it inside my bag. I've already cut the tip off of the bag to fit the coupler here. I'm going to push that down as far as I can. I'm going to hold the bag in my hand and turn the bag back down over itself and over my hand so I can have a really good grip on it. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a leaf tip on the end of this and attach it with the coupler. Okay, now it's going to be less likely to come out the bottom while I'm working. Okay, I'm going to take a big spoonful of this and push that as far down into the bag as I possibly can. And I'm kind of manipulating the bag with my hand underneath here. Push it as far down. You want to keep pushing the bag down as much as you can to get the air bubbles out as you're working. Okay. I think this will be enough for us to use for right now. I'm going to set this over on the counter. I want to make sure that I get my lid back on the icing quickly because it will dry very, very quickly. Okay, here we go. You pull the bag up. We want to make sure that all the air bubbles are pushed out of it. And we want to make sure the icing is down at the very tip of the bag. Then I'm going to twist the top, make sure it doesn't come out the top. And we're ready to start on our eggs. I have in the video that you can see, or some of the pictures that we'll have up on the website or with this video now, I've shown you how I have used a plastic candy egg to make the mold and everything. What we want to do is, you know what, I needed a grass tip on this instead. Okay, the grass tip is also used for hair, if you're decorating a doll cake or a teddy bear or something like that that you want hair. Okay. Can you see how, oh, that's doing just really good. I'm just touching it lightly and then pulling straight up and taking the pressure off so that the grass comes all the way up to the top. This is one of them. This is actually the back side where we're going to see. I want to make sure that there's no extra dried sugar that might cause my icing to not stick. Okay, sometimes you have to build this up a little bit to hold the figure that you're going to put in the bottom here. I'm going to bring my grass up at the top quite a bit. See if I can get it to spread out. Oh, that was better. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, there's several different things that you can put in the bottom here. I found some erasers when I went to the dollar store. Sometimes you can put stickers, you can put little figurines, different things in here. Here's an Easter bunny. Here's an egg, if you want to see how the egg might look in it. I think I'm going to use a butterfly because it is certainly a symbol of newness of life that we think about during the spring. And the butterfly will just kind of lay inside there on the grass. I think the butterfly is a beautiful Christian symbol. Okay, now we're ready to stick the two pieces of the egg together. And I have my white icing right here. And you know what? The icing has dried. Okay, I was able to pull it off there. You want to put a good, this is I really should have a little bit bigger tip on the end here. You want to put a big string of icing, enough to hold it together, all around the edge. Then we're going to just pick up this piece and put it on there. Let's make sure it's going to sit up. Cool. Beautiful. Now, if I were doing this at home, I think probably what I would do is set this over to the side for a day and make sure this icing is very hard so that it doesn't come apart as we're trying to handle it. You can put a lot of different colors around the outside edges, or you can use white. I think I'm going to just fill in this piece with white right here, and you can remove some of that excess icing. Okay, and now we're ready to go and put, I'm going to just do some dots, or maybe a zigzag, since this tip is so small. I think a zigzag might do a little bit better. A zigzag is very easy for children to do. You turn it around here. Yeah. One side of the egg might be a little bit larger in the center. Okay, there's some places on here where it's maybe not quite so perfect. It looks like I've made a little bobble right there, but in a few minutes we're going to put some flowers on there, so we really don't need to worry about that too much. I also want to cover this opening right here to make that a little bit smoother. So let me pick my egg up, and I think I'm going to again use the dots. This might have been a little bit better if I had used a different tip, a little bit bigger tip. It would have come out of the tip a little bit easier, and I wouldn't have to squeeze quite so hard. One of the hardest parts of doing the egg is getting your icing the right consistency. It's got to be stiff enough to hold up, and yet it's got to be soft enough to be able to squeeze it out of the bag without it hurting your hand too much. Okay, how's that? Looks good, doesn't it? So far. Now we want to put some color on there. And sometimes I like to just randomly put flowers all over the egg. Sometimes if you want to be very formal, you can place them at exact places on the egg. This tip that I have on now is a flower tip. It has a little hole, it should pipe with a little hole in the center. So let's see here. It's not coming out quite so perfect. But again, you know, this is not doing as well as I would like for it to. Let's put a little yellow tip there. And a little yellow center. What we'll do is, I'm getting the hole real well, okay? We want to get a little bit of a pink flower on there, just some different places. And we can squeeze it. This is a very, let's put one on the back right here. Okay, where does another one need to go? Maybe right down here. Okay, we have our grass tip on here now, and I need to replace that with a leaf tip. This is a fairly large leaf tip. I can put the numbers when I show you the video. What you're going to do when you put the leaf on, you want to touch, squeeze, and then gradually, as you pull away, release the pressure. And that we'll put another leaf right here. And, you know, when you do that, I think, oh, this is really neat because the leaf is standing out a little bit. It will... How's that? Right here where these blue ones didn't turn out quite the way I would want them to. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. It would be nice if the flower was perfect, but even with just a half flower and the leaves on each side of it, it looks kind of nice. Okay, is that enough on there? That's enough to give you the idea. Right, today we only put the butterfly on the inside. I found a chocolate cross that might be nice to go on the inside. You can put all of your decorations at the top. You can just put one special flower in the center and maybe keep it plainer, or you can completely, you know, put a lot of color on there, even use the color to seal it. So there's lots of ideas of other ways that you can decorate your egg. I want to show you one other thing before we turn the camera off here. I have one egg that, when you look in the other video, I show you how I mold the eggs and how I make the hole in the center. This egg, somehow I didn't hold it just right. It wasn't something... Maybe it wasn't as dry, or maybe it was too dry, I'm not sure. But when I got ready to poke the hole in the center here, it just broke. And I want to show you how you can fix that. If you will, after it breaks, or maybe one of the first things, if you will, let me pull my icing back down in here. Make sure you have it really tightly closed at the top. If you will just take your icing and This is, again, royal icing. It's made with egg white or meringue powder, which is a dried egg white mixture. What I'm going to do is just put that on one side. Then I'm going to fit this back together. And you can hardly see where, I need to make sure we have it exactly right so that it will stand up. So we've got that glued back together with the royal icing. It will dry harder than a rock, and so we will be able to use this one. If your crease or your crack is too evident, then that might be a good place for you to put your flower or a little vine going down some of the cracks. I think you'll be excited if you do this, and we have full directions on the website how to mix up the sugar, mix up the royal icing, and all of that, with several other examples of the egg. See you later. God bless.